Zel Boy Army, what is going on? It's your boy Zelonius and my spicy friend back here, Mr. Ainsley Harrow. We're here today with a bit of a different video. But first, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, liking the videos, commenting on them. Helps the channel grow, helps the videos do better. Lots of new subscribers over the last week, especially with the 4231 video we did. Hope you're enjoying the content. Going to be doing lots more tactics videos, tutorials, looking at helping you guys improve. That is the main focus of this channel. But today's video is a bit different. We are looking at prime icon moments and some of their stories. If you go to I'll show you an example. This isn't a moment card. If you look at R9, every icon has an icon profile at the end of it, which has a bit of a story about them. I've looked at every single icon moment story, and some of those stories are absolutely crazy. I'm making a tier list for this. Some of the moments, like for example, Zidane's moment is the volley against Leverkusen in the Champions League final. Perfect, that's exactly what I would pick. But prime icon moments should be the pinnacle of their powers, the absolute best moment of their career. And some of them are just so far from it, it's crazy. You have to wonder who made these cards, who put these icon profile stories in there. Well, we're looking at each one. Well, I'm not going to go through them all. I've looked at them privately myself. If there's some you feel I've missed out, please let me know. But we're going to look through them. I've got a tier list. The tier list goes 1, 2 and 3. Tier 3 is, come on EA, it's not the worst, but it's a bit bad. I don't really get how you could put that. Tier 2 is pretty crazy tier, and the tier 1 is the ludicrous tier. How on earth has this been allowed? Has it even gone for a Q&A check? So we're going to look at some of these moments cards. I'm going to search for them. We're going to start with the tier 3s. If you disagree with any, please let me know. I'm interested to see what you guys think. If you think I've maybe ranked them too low on the tier, too high on the tier, let me know. If there's some you think I've missed out, let me know. But I think today's video will be a bit of a funnier one. Can have a bit of a laugh at some of the profiles. Okay, tier 3. We'll start off with this one. Not Delph. Don't think Fabian Delph was ever an icon. Alessandro Del Piero. Let's start off by looking at this. No. Not just his story. When you search for him, it says he's a 93, but he's a 94, so it's a good start. His icon profile is, to summarise it, a brace in the Champions League group stage against Real Madrid. Fair enough. Getting 2 goals at Real Madrid in itself is very impressive. Is it even 2 actually? Yeah, it is 2 goals. It's 2 goals against Real Madrid in the Champions League group stage. The fact it's the Champions League group stage, for me, takes away quite a bit. But it's also when Del Piero was 34 years old. How's Del Piero's pinnacle, his best card in the game, when he was 34? So that goes into the tier 3. George Best. Very iconic footballer. His card in itself is pretty crazy, by the way. But I've put this in tier 3. My stream said they thought it should be tier 3. I was going to put tier 2 because of who it's against, but they kind of convinced me tier 3 because a double hat-trick is insane. There'll hardly be any players in pro football who ever score a double hat-trick. There's never been one in the Premier League. The most goals ever in a game by a player is 5, and it's only been done, I think it's 3 or 4 times. So a double hat-trick's insane. But was George Best's best moment of his career really a double hat-trick in the FA Cup against Northampton Town? So that one goes into tier 3 for us. By the way, this video is being recorded live on stream. If you've never watched my stream, I'm streaming every single day over on Twitch. There's a link in the description below. That's a good chance for you to come into the stream, ask me questions, get to watch me play live. Okay, another tier 3. Eusebio. And some of these moments cards, just the cards themselves are absolutely crazy. Just the attributes one, and not the stories. This Eusebio card, you probably don't even have to press shoot and he'll score for you. Okay, Eusebio's, the moment itself is pretty crazy. Winning a European Cup final for Benfica. This is back when Benfica were very good. But he was 20 years old. Was Eusebio's best card really when he was 20 years old? I'm not so sure about that. Okay. Another tier 3. We're working our way to the best stories. Roberto Carlos. It said he was a 92 apparently when you search for him, but he's a 93. It's for a free kick against Atletico Bilbao. Fair enough, Carlos is famous for his free kicks. 99 free kicks, shot pound, long shots. Pretty crazy. I'd like to try some of those free kicks in game, but I'm not going to be spending the coins that Roberto Carlos costs. But he might be the best left back in the game right now. However, why is it not Roberto Carlos's iconic free kick against France, the one that swerved like 10 yards out wide and then came back in? That should be it if we're picking a free kick. Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker scored a lot of goals in his career. There's probably a lot of places you could have picked for it. I would personally have picked for Gary Lineker a hat-trick in El Clasico against Real Madrid. However, they picked 2 penalty kicks against Cameroon. It was in the knockouts of the World Cup. That adds a lot to it. But it's 2 penalty kicks. Really enough to get your best moment of your career? I'm not sure about that. Next one. Blanc. So remember, Blanc has an 85 rated cam card on this game, which was when he was at Montpellier. It's his baby card. His moments card is a centre back, but apparently it was again at Montpellier and it was in a cup final in the French league. I don't think for someone who played at Barcelona, Inter Milan, Man U, had nearly 100 caps for France, the best moment of his career was a cup final in France playing for Montpellier. And they've got the position wrong. So that's a tier 3. That could have been a tier 2 though. Okay, we're getting to tier 2 now. So we've just had the, oh, come on EA, like these are a bit silly, but we're getting to some crazier stories now. Pele, arguably the best player to ever play football. He also shares a birthday with me. Is that a coincidence? You decide. The 23rd of October, the day for heroes. Anyway, his prime moment was apparently at the age of 17. Yes, I'll let it off from being the tier 1, the ludicrous tier, because they won a World Cup when he was 17. That's pretty crazy in itself. But was Pele really at his best when he was 17 years old? I think that's a bit crazy. Maradona. Again, it says he was a 98. He's a 99 on his card. Feels like these cards have just been rushed down. Not a lot of things have been done to check them. Maradona. He is an absolute icon at Napoli. They absolutely love him there even to this day, 35 years nearly later. And winning a title for Napoli was very impressive. But if you said to anyone who knows anything about football, what do you think Maradona's best moment of his career was? It'd be winning the World Cup in 1986 or the 2 goals against England in the quarter-final. No one's going to say winning the league with Napoli. So that one goes into tier 2 for us. Henry's. Henry was the runner-up in the Ballon d'Or competition. Key player in the Invincibles era at Arsenal. But they picked 2 goals and 2 assists in the group stage against Inter Milan. Impressive. It's good. But that is surely not going to be what you pick as the best moment of Henry's career. For someone as good as Henry, they could have done better. Hugo Sanchez. This is actually a card that, besides the story, I think it's really good. I'd quite like to try it out. A note from this card is pretty impressive. Apparently, all 38 goals he scored that season were first touch finishes. I saw that and I thought that was quite an interesting stat. I like stats. But how is the pinnacle of his career, the best moment of his career, a hat-trick against Real Oviedo? I might be wrong here, but I don't even think Real Oviedo are in La Liga anymore. I don't really get how that's the best moment of someone who was that good's career. Bit crazy. And apparently if you look at his card, he didn't even have a club career. There's a lot more cards that when you look at them don't have club careers apparently. They've just forgot to put them in. Guardiola, Zambrotta, Ian Wright, Coman. None of them have club careers on their icon cards. Van Nistelrooy. No. Search again. Van Nistelrooy's card. Great goal scorer. If you look at his record, lots of goals wherever he went. His prime moments, okay, 4 goals in a Champions League game, pretty insane. Not many people can say they've done that. But it was in the group stage against Sparta Praha. I don't think many people remember that game. Not really sure that's the best one that you could have given Van Nistelrooy. Hernan Crespo had a very good career, played at a lot of great clubs. His prime moments is when he was 18 at River Plate, apparently. They do add his move to Parma and winning the Olympics Golden Boot. But how can the start of Crespo's prime moments be when he wasn't even playing in Europe? An 18-year-old playing for River Plate, and that's what they've given Crespo's prime moments. I nearly put that in tier 1 because I don't see how 18 River Plate can even be considered his moments. This one, and as well, is another one that could have easily been put into tier 1. Van der Sar, very good career, played a long time at Ajax, was very good there. Juventus famously ended his career at Man U. His prime moments wasn't even any silverware. It was getting the best defensive record in Serie A, but not even winning the season. The league title. They didn't even win Serie A. And Van der Sar, that's his best moment of his career apparently. Interesting decision. Okay, one more tier 2 and then we get into some of the tier 1s. Deco. Fantastic career. You'd probably say the key moment of Deco's career was winning the Champions League before he left to go to Chelsea. Winning the Champions League at Porto as probably their best player was pretty impressive. But no, it was a 1-2 with Sean Wright-Phillips. Sean Wright-Phillips shouldn't even be a name that gets put on any icon profile. Why is Sean Wright-Phillips even mentioned on an icon profile on FIFA? Anyway, a 30-yard goal against Portsmouth apparently is Deco's moment. Not really sure about that. Okay, tier 1. These are just the ludicrous ones, the absolute crazy, like, who even okayed this, thought it was reasonable to have these. I'll bear in mind, I haven't seen this save, but Yashin's moment was representing the rest of the world in a friendly game against England. A friendly game against England is Yashin's moment. I could nearly put it to tier 2 because it mentions him winning the Ballon d'Or. Like, winning the Ballon d'Or as a keeper, obviously it's insane. I think the keeper award now that Alisson won this year is called the Yashin Award. But it's a friendly game. How can arguably the best keeper to ever play football, the only one I think who's ever won the Ballon d'Or, how can his moments be mostly built around a friendly game? Come on. Okay, this one's another crazy one. Fabio Cannavaro, one of the best centre-backs to ever grace the game. You're thinking, yeah, World Cup winning captain, he's the last defender to win a Ballon d'Or. Nope. His prime moments was winning the UEFA Cup 8 years before he even won the World Cup. Fair play, they kept a clean sheet against Marseille. But I've got to say, I think that Cannavaro's moments has to be winning the World Cup, winning the Ballon d'Or as a centre-back. Centre-backs just don't win Ballon d'Ors. Cannavaro did, but no, we'll give him the UEFA Cup as his moments. Ruud Gullit, the best footballer to ever play the game if you go by his card on FIFA. Arguably the best player to ever play the game if you go on his stats. If you just forget about Gullit's story for a sec, he's nearly got as much strength as Van Dijk. He's got the stamina, the engine of any footballer currently playing in world football. He's got the reaction time of the fastest human alive. He's the best header of football ever to exist. He's got the he's a centre forward who has the defending stats of a pretty good Premier League centre back. He's got the composure of CR7. He's got the ball control of probably a top midfielder in any team. He's one of the best free kick takers ever. His long passing's probably up there with Moments Perla. He's got the vision of Eden Hazard, maybe better. He's got the attacking position and the movement better than any striker currently playing in world football. He's got the hardest shot to ever exist in football, 99 shot power. No one ever could hit a ball as hard as Ruud Huller. 96 long shots. Not only could he hit it really hard, he had one of the most accurate shots ever to exist from distance. And to top it all off, he also was absolutely rapid. 90 pace puts him in the elites of footballers for pace. So bear in mind, this is his moments card. If you had a player who's actually this good, he'd be the best player to ever exist by a country mile. His moments card isn't even at AC Milan. It's at Sampdoria, where he scored. Apparently, it wasn't even that good a goal. It was apparently a pretty average goal. So his moments isn't when he was playing at Milan. I think he even won a Ballon d'Or at Milan as well. I could be wrong, but I think he won a Ballon d'Or at Milan. So a card that good, his moments is scoring a goal in Serie A against his former club. I'm lost for words with some of these. Okay, this one as well. One of my favourite cards that I've used on FIFA in the last few years was his prime. Marco van Basten. Forbes magazine rated Marco van Basten as the greatest athlete to ever have his career ruined by injury. So bear in mind that Forbes is a very respected publication. They're saying that his career was ruined by injury. This guy still won 3 Ballon d'Ors. So his career was ruined apparently by injury, but he still won 3 Ballon d'Ors. So he's probably underrated on FIFA in terms of his cards. Very good card. Anyone who knows football at every single time going to point to his insane volley. He doesn't even have 99 volleys for one, which I don't get. But his insane volley in the European Championship final. One of the craziest goals in football history in one of the biggest games you can have. It's probably a top 5, top 10 iconic goal in football history. No, that's not what they've picked for his prime moments. They've picked a goal against FC Den Bosch in the Eredivisie. We move on. Shevchenko. Shevchenko, I think he won something like 5 golden boots in Serie A in a row. And when Shevchenko was playing in Serie A, this was when Serie A was as good as it could have been. Serie A was at its peak of its powers at this point. It was probably the best league in the world, or much up there. Shevchenko is historically known to have had an awful time at Chelsea. Compare his goal record there at Milan. At Milan, he was easily over a goal every 2 games, which back then was incredible for strikers. And that was in Serie A, when it was insane. His goal record at Chelsea, he's just about averaging 1 every 4. He's just above 1 goal every 4 games. He was awful at Chelsea. His moments icon here even says he was hampered with injuries. But the peak of Shevchenko's powers wasn't winning the Champions League at Milan, wasn't winning golden boots in Serie A. It was starring in a 2007 League Cup final. Fair play, Andre. One of my personal favourites now, Raul. At one point, Raul held the record for most goals ever in the Champions League. Most goals ever at Real Madrid. Absolute icon at Real Madrid. So you'd think, oh yeah, his moments has got to be at Real Madrid. Nope. In 2010, Raul moved to Schalke after spending 16 years at Real Madrid, bringing his remarkable time. But no, that's not what we're talking about, Raul. Raul's moments is winning a domestic cup title in Germany. A domestic cup title in Germany compared to a guy who at Real Madrid had the record for the most Champions League goals and most goals in the Liga. What is that about? Okay, if I said I liked Raul's one, I think we're getting like... We've still got more tier 1s left. No, we'll save this one for the last. We've got 2 more. Roy Keane's is another tier 1 because of just how famous the performance was that they've not given him. So, after a hip operation, so Roy Keane clearly was already past his best. At this point, Roy Keane was like 31, 32. Roy Keane was still very good. You could maybe put this as a tier 2. But Roy Keane's biggest moment by a mile was the Champions League semi-final against Juventus, where he single-handedly took over the game, took out the Juventus midfield, which had some incredible... I think the Juventus midfield at that time had Zidane and Deschamps in. I haven't checked all these because I've already put quite a lot of effort into going through every profile in the game, but my general football knowledge would tell me that it was Zidane and Deschamps playing for Juventus at that time. Keane had the best game of his career in a game that led Man U to a Champions League final, which they won a treble. So that's easily the best moment of Roy Keane's career that season, but they picked 4 years later. Okay, the best one now though. This is the best one. The tier 1 we've called ludicrous. This could be a tier 0 on itself, like, and just like how has this even been allowed? Frank Lampard. Most people who know football know he started off at West Ham, but his career was 100% defined by his time at Chelsea. The card itself's not very good, but Frank Lampard's prime moments, not only is it not at Chelsea, it's at West Ham, which in itself's absolutely crazy. It mentions a brief loan spell at Swansea City. What is a brief loan spell at Swansea City doing in his moments profile? But the best part is the key part of his moments card, the moments profile, the story about Lampard apparently at the peak of his powers, his best card on FIFA, was a hat-trick against Walsall. If I wasn't from Birmingham, near where Walsall is, I didn't go past Walsall on the motorway every time I see my family, I might not even know who this club is. No disrespect if there's any Walsall fans watching the stream or the video. But how can a hat-trick against Walsall in the League Cup when Frank Lampard was 19, not even playing at Chelsea? How on earth is that Frank Lampard's prime moments of his career? That is, for me, that is crazy, and that tops all of them. Yeah, I think that one's a great one to end it on. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Some absolutely crazy stories we've seen there. I appreciate all of you who've watched it. Please let me know if you disagree with any. If there's any icons that you think they've missed out certain stories. Yeah, I'm being informed as well by my stream that some of the pictures of some of these icon moments aren't even from the moment that they're on about. It just feels like EA chucked this icon moments thing together to make a bit of money. But we've been able to have a good laugh. Some very good stories on there. Appreciate you all watching. We'll be back tomorrow looking at the 4-4-2. Why it's meta, why it's a great formation. Boys, thank you for supporting the channel. Have a great evening.